Okay. There we go. Yay! Um, okay, cool. I don't know how many seconds I'm behind, but surprise stream again! We're doing another Odyssey reading. Yay! Hopefully, okay, it's like 5 seconds behind, but we're good. We're Gucci. We're playing. I have some time today. I didn't want to do any homework today, but that's okay because I don't have to do much. Um, so yeah, I don't have to do much, but I'm definitely gonna do that tonight. But I want to do another reading of the Odyssey. I at least want to get through it because I know I fucking love this book. So I I want to read it. Listening to Epic earlier kind of refueled the fire a little bit, and as per usual, I'm gonna uh have the chat on my iPad while I'm watching the or reading it, so I don't have to like constantly look at my freaking laptop all the time. Just have it like a quick glance, like second monitor. Second monitor. Um, one quick moment. Let me just. I know the thumbnails are kind of. I hate the live stuff. When the freaking. I don't know why YouTube does this. They do constant different like thumbnails. I have to change the one stream that I didn't read the Odyssey, but this time we are reading it. Um, so I know people don't know I'm streaming right now, and I'm like talking to dead air for like for a little bit, but I'm gonna get on with it. Get on with it, will you? Stop dilly-dallying and shilly-shallying. Oh, someone joined. Let me get the clip. Bro, what is happening right now? Oh shit. Currently, instead of me socializing and literally like outside, someone is my school's doing this thing called the Sailfish Cup, where like they do all the dormitories partake in these like games, and right now it's the weekend for that. So right now they're doing like tug of war. Looks like one side's winning. So if you hear, it's not gonna come up, or the sound's not gonna come up because my microphone. I meant said microphone um doesn't pick it up for obvious reasons, but uh anyway, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I was gonna look up the Greek ocean sounds so we can have a little bit of ambience in the background while we read the Odyssey, as always. Um Summer ambience. Ooh, this is different. We can totally go for this. I just don't know how well this is gonna sound. You're just gonna have to deal with like a logo on top of it. To the one person that's watching this, I apologize. I'm still setting this thing up. Um, let's go ahead and put this on screen. I'm looping the video, so it's gonna have it. So it can play while I read it. The usual. So the goal is today we're going to be reading. Oh, I gotta pull up the visual. My bad. My bad. Let me just pull this up real quick. Oh, it's not. It's not doing it. Oh no. Why is it not showing? What? Oh my god, this fucking yelling. Just hearing everyone like screeching like, "Yeah, come on, get it." It's so freaking hilarious. Um I know again you can't hear it, but oh my god. Okay, dude. Yeah. Looks like looks like the visual doesn't want to work today, which is not Not exactly what I really want right now, but oh, it's the audio. Oh God, I'm an idiot. I was clicking on the audio thing, not the actual like window. Jeez. Okay, fine. All right, we're going into this. So, last time my microphone was a little bit of ways away from me basically reading, which is not exactly ideal. But the goal today, or at least I think, we're gonna at least get from book book 8, book 8 to 12. I think that was what I was setting it up to be. Um, I know that this is a logo. Hang on, let me change that real quick. There we go. Anyway, I usually put like stuff like this up for reasons to uh just to like uh have a visual at least, so you're not like staring at a black screen for like hours on end. Um, so last time if you haven't seen the first stream of me reading the Odyssey, Odysseus arrives on this island. He's with this king, and believe that we haven't gone. I know we're close to um the part where like Epic kind of adapts in terms of like, oh, the sirens and blah blah blah. We haven't gone to that yet, but I think we'll get to some of that today. So in the meantime, let's get started with book 8, which is Banquet in the House of Equinius. I'm gonna call him that because I can't pronounce Greek words for shit, even though I'm part Greek myself. Uh, that's kind of stupid to say. What the hell? So, what was I gonna say now? Yeah, so the guy that Odysseus is talking with is the king, which I just mentioned. Book 8 is shorter than the first book we read, um, which was book 4. That took a while to get through. So hopefully we're getting... Okay, so there's 2 people watching. Hello, good people. So let's, get started without any further ado. Let me know if the desktop audio is kind of like, I don't know, like loud or something. If that's the case, I don't think so, because this is just ambience. It's just the bed, my voice. So I'm not talking to like. Anyway, enough. Again, let's begin before I start getting off track. All right, so now when the child of morning, rosy-fingered dawn appeared, Inclinius and Odysseus both rose, and Inclinius led the way to the... I gotta remember how to pronounce these things. Pleonician, that's the best I can think of, place of assembly which was near the ships. When they got there, they sat down side by side on a seat of polished stone, while Athena took the form of one of Inclinius' servants and went round the town to order to help Odysseus to get home. She went up to the citizens, and man by man, and said, "Aldermen and the town councilors of the Phaeacians, come to the assembly, all of you, to listen to the stranger who has just come off a long voyage to the house of King Aclinius. He looks like an immoral god." Oh yeah, I forgot. They kind of like this guy. They kind of like they love Odysseus like a lot. He's like, "Oh my god, this man's so pretty. He looks like a god himself." I just find that so funny. Oh man, and I like how Athena is. I know the book says Minerva, Minerva, but like I'm just gonna call it Athena because that's literally what her name is called in the original text, or like the story. This is like the Roman. That means Odysseus is called Ulysses. So that's why it's weirded in the book, but I'm trying to like do the Greek translation. With these words she made him all to want to come, and they flocked to the assembly till seats in standing room were... Wait. till seats and standing. Okay, I read that right. Room were like a crowded. Everyone was struck with the appearance of Odysseus, for Athena had beautified him both the head and the shoulders, making him look taller and stouter than he really was, that he might impress the Phoenicians favorably as being a remarkable man, and might come off well in many trials of skill in which they would challenge him. Okay, so Athena was the one responsible for to make him like pretty as shit, and they're like, "Whoa, this guy is so cool." Then when they were got together, Aclinius spoke. "Hear me," said he, "aldermen and town councillors of the Phoenicians, that I may speak even as I am minded. This stranger, whoever he may be, has found his way to my house from somewhere or other east or west. He wants an escort and wishes to have the matter settled. Let us then get one ready for him, as we have done for others before him. Indeed, no one who ever yet came to my house has been able to complain of me for not speeding on his way soon enough. Let us draw a ship into the sea, one that has never made a voyage, and man her with 250 of our smartest young sailors. Then when you have made fast your oars each by his own seat, I leave the ship and come to my house to prepare a feast. I'll find you in everything. I am giving these instructions to the young men who will form the crew. As regards you aldermen with the town councillors, you will join me in entertaining our guest in the closeteers. I think that's what I... My bad if I have problems spelling shit, or not spelling, pronouncing things, because I haven't read as much as I should have in my young life. But I'm stuck with what I'm stuck with. Okay. At least this is helpful in practice of reading out. I guess not reading out. Reading aloud, which is always a good thing. Where was I? I will find you in everything, and I'm giving these instructions to the young man who will form the crew. As regards you aldermen and town councillors, you will join me in entertaining our guests in the closeteers. I can take no excuses, and will have Demigotus to sing for us, for there is no bard like him, whatever he may choose to sing about. And Clinias then lead the way, and then the others followed after, while a servant went to fetch Democotius. The 52 picked oarsmen went to the seashore as they had been told, and when they got there, they drew the ship into the water, and got her mast and sails inside her, bound the oars to the full pins with twisted thongs of leather, in all due course, and spread the white sails aloft. They moored the vessel a little way out from land, and then came on shore and went to the house of King Aclinius. Then the outhouses, yards, and all the precincts were filled with the crowds of men in great multitudes, both old and young. And Aclinius killed them in a dozen sheep, 8 full-grown pigs, and 2 oxen. These they skinned and dressed so to provide a magnificent banquet. A servant presently led into the famous bard Demodocus, Docus? Something like that, I don't know, whom the muse had dearly loved, but to whom she had given both good and evil, for though she had endowed him with a divine gift of song, she had robbed him of his eyesight. Pontinius set a seat for him among the guests, leaning it up against the bearing post. He hung the lyra for him on a peg over his head, and showed him where he has to feel it for with his hands. He also set a fair table with a basket full of victuals by his side, and a cup of wine of which he might drink whenever he was so disposed. The company then laid their hands upon the good things that were before them, but as soon as they had had enough to eat and drink, the muse inspired Ducas to sing the feats of heroes, and more especially a matter that was then in the mouths of all men, to wit, the quarrel between Odysseus and Antilles. and all the fierce words that they had heaped on one another as they sat together at a banquet. But Agamemnon was so glad when he heard his Shiftians quarreling with one another, for Apollo had foretold him this at Pytho when he crossed the storm floor to consult the oracle. Here was the beginning of the evil that the will of Jove, Zeus fell upon Dians and Trojans. Thus sang the bard, but Odysseus drew his purple mantle over his head and covered his face, for he was ashamed to let the Phoenicians see what he was weeping. Oh no! No! Odysseus, that's so sad! He's like, I have major PTSD over this shit. I am... Dude, like, I mean, I don't blame him. I mean, he's been through a lot, like, dude. When the bard left off singing, he wiped the tears from his eye and uncovered his face, and taking his cup, made a drink offering to the gods. But when the Phoenicians posed Demodocus into sing further, for they delight in his lays, then Odysseus again drew his mantle over his head and wept bitterly. No one noticed his distress except Ancrinius, who was sitting near him and heard the heavy sighs he was heaving. So literally he was just like... like, he was just... This poor man, dude. Let him go home to see his son and wife, bro. Go home. Bro, it's so fucking sad. So he at once said, Aldermen and the town councilors of the Phoenicians, we have... Phoenicians, we have had enough now. Both of the feast and the ministry that is the duke, its due a compliment. Let us proceed therefore to the athletic sports, so that our guest in his return home may be able to tell his friends how much we surpass all nations as boxers, wrestlers, jumpers, and runners. Oh my. With these words he led the way, and the others followed after. The servants hung Demodocus' lyra on his peg for him, led him out of the cloister, and set him on the same way that is along which the chief men of the Phoenicians were going to see the sports. A crowd of several thousand people followed them, and there were many excellent competitors for all the prizes. Oh gosh, here we go. More Greek stuff. Acroneos, Acleus, Eleatris, Nautius, Priminius, I think, and Claudius, Erychimus, Pondus, and Prourus, Thune, who named their person, like, named child Thune. Can you imagine? And Pinicius, and Amphibia, and Amphialus, the son of Paulinus, the son of Tecon, I think? There was also Eurylius, the son of Nabulus, who was like Mars himself. Oh! Mars is Ares, I think. Am I right about that? Hey Siri. What is the Greek god Mars? I think it's Ares.
Mars is the Roman god of war, and the counterpart of the Greek god Ares.
Yeah, it's Ares. Thanks, Siri. Really appreciate that. The one time it's actually useful, or he's useful. Let's see. There was the Eurylius, son of Nabulus, who was like Ares himself. And there was the best-looking man among the Phoenicians except Laodamas. 3 sons of Antilochus, Laodamas, Helios, and Clytonius competed also. The foot races came first. The course was set out for them from the starting post, and they raised a dust upon the plain as they all flew forward at the same moment. Clytonius came in first by a long way. He left everyone else behind him with the length of the furrow that a couple of mules can plow through a fallow field. Then they turned to a painful art of wrestling, and there Eurylius proved to be the best man. Oh man. Amphialus excelled all the others in jumping. While throwing the disc, there was no one who could approach Eurylius. No, wait. Elatrus. Aclinius' son Laudamus was the best boxer, and yet he it who was presently said, when they all had been diverted with the games, let us ask the stranger whether he excels in any of these sports. He seems very powerfully built. His thighs, calves, hands, and neck are very of prodigious strength. Prodigious, gosh. Prodigious strength. No, it's prodigy, but it's like prodigious strength. Nor he is that old, but he has suffered much lately. There is nothing like the sea for making havoc with a man, no matter how strong he is. You're quite right. You were quite right, Laodamas, replied Eurycleus. Go up to your guest and speak him about it. Go up to your guest and speak to him about it yourself. When Laodamas heard this, he made his way into the middle of the crowd and said to Odysseus, I hope, sir, that you will enter yourself or someone or other of your of our competitions if you are skilled in any of them, and you must have gone in for many of a one before now. There's nothing that does anyone so much credit all his life as long. Wait, no, I'm sorry, I'm reading so fucking slow. There is nothing that does anyone who much credit all his life, long as the showing himself a proper man with his hands and feet. Have a try, therefore, at something, and banish all sorrow from your mind. Your return home will not be long delayed, for the ship is already drawn into the water, and the crew is found. Odysseus answered, Laodamas, why do you taunt me in this way? My mind is set rather on cares than contests. I have been put through an infinite trouble, and I'm and am gosh the way that this is and am come along you now as a suppliant, praying your king and people to further me on my return home. Then Eurycleus revealed him outright and said, I gather then that you are unskilled in any of the sports that men generally delight in. I suppose you are one of those grasping traders that go about in ships or as captains or merchants who think of nothing but their outward freights and homeward cargoes. There does not seem to be much of an athlete about you. For shame, sir, answered Odysseus fiercely. You are an insolent fellow, so true that it is the gods that do not grace all men alike in speech, person, and understanding. One man may be of weak presence, but heaven has adorned this with such a good conversation that he charms every one who sees him. His honeyed moderation carries his hearers with him, so that he is later in all the assemblies of his fellows, and whether he goes, he is looked up to. Another may be as handsome as a god, but his good looks are not crowned with discretion. This is your case. No god could make a finer looking fellow than you are, but you are a fool. Your ill-judged remarks have made me exceedingly angry, and you are quite mistaken, for I excel in many great athletic exercises. Indeed, so as long as I had youth and strength, I was among the first athletes of the age. Now, however, I'm worn out by labor and sorrow, for I've gone through much in both on the field of battle and by the waves of the weary sea. Still, in spite of this, I will compete, for your taunts have strung me to the quick. He's like, I took offense to that shit. I am... You dare? Like, you think I don't have any skill? Bro, I've been through so much. I just need to get goddamn home, but to prove your little goddamn point, I'm gonna compete. Dude, literally, like, this straight up reminds me of Minecraft Story Mode when Jesse and literally his gang are trying to get home. And, like, I wouldn't be surprised if that whole arc, or that whole era, was just inspired by, like, you know, inspired by, this book. I would not be surprised, because this literally just gives those vibes off. Especially if episode 8 with the games and all that. Man, or this is like, you dare challenge me on this? So he hurried up without even taking his cloak off and seized a disc, larger than, more massive, and much heavier than those used by the Phoenicians when disc throwing among themselves. Then, swinging it back, he threw it from his brawny hand and made it made a humming sound in the air as he did so. The Phoenicians quailed beneath the rushing of its flight and sped gracefully from his hand, and flew beyond any mark that had been made yet. Athena, in the form of a man, came and marked the place where it had fallen. "A blind man, sir," said she, "could easily tell your mark by groping for it. It is so far ahead of any other. You may make your mind easy about this contest, but for no Phoenician can come near as such a throw as yours." Odysseus was glad when he found he had a young friend among the lookers-on, so he began to speak more pleasantly. "Young men," said he, come up to that throw if you can, and I will throw another disc as heavy or as even heavier. If anyone wants to have a bout with me, let him come on, for I am exceedingly angry, and I will box, wrestle, or run. I do not care what it is, but with any man of you except Laodamas, but not with him, because I am his guest, and one cannot compete with one's own personal friend. At least I do not think it's a prudent or sensible thing for a guest to challenge his host family at any game, especially when he is in a foreign country. He will cut to the ground from under his own feet if he does, but I make no exception as regards to anyone else, for I want to have the matter out and know which one is the best man. I am a good hand at every kind of athletic sport known to among mankind. I'm an excellent archer. In battle, I'm always the first to bring a man down with my arrow, no matter how many more are taking aim at him alongside of me. Philoctetes was the only man who could shoot better than I could when the Achaeans were before Troy and in practice. I far excel everyone else in the whole world. I far excel every one of the else in the whole world, but of those who still eat bread upon the face of the earth. But I should not like to shoot against the mighty dead, such as Hercules or Eurycletus, or the these names, man. Oh man, I'm stuttering. I'm really good stuttering. Okay, Okay, Oceanian. Men who could shoot against the gods themselves. This, in fact, is how Eurytus became prematurely by his end, for Apollo was angry with him and killed him because he challenged him as an archer. I can throw a dart farther than anyone else can shoot an arrow. Running is the only point in respect of which I'm afraid some of the Phaeacians might beat for me, for I have been brought down very low at sea. My provisions ran short, and therefore I am still weak. They all held their peace except King Acunius, who began, "Sir, we had much pleasure in hearing all that you have been told. Sir, we have had much pleasure in hearing all that you have told us, from which I understand that you are willing to show your prowess, as having displeased with some insolent remarks that have been made to you by one of our athletes, and which could never have been uttered by anyone who knows how to talk with propriety. I hope that you will apprehend my meaning, and will explain to any one of your chief men who may be dining with yourself and your family when you get home, that we have an hereditary aptitude for the accomplishments of all kinds. We are not particularly remarkable for our boxing, nor yet as wrestlers, but we are singularly Jesus. Can I English? But we are singularly fleet of foot and are excellent sailors. We are extremely fond of good dinners, music, and dancing. We also like the frequent changes of linen, warm baths, and good beds. So now, please, some of you who are the best dancers set about dancing, that our guest on his return home may be able to tell his friends about how much we all surpass other nations as sailors, runners, dancers, and minstrels." Democritus had left his lyra at my house, so so run someone or other of you to fetch it for him." On this, a servant hurried off to bring the lyra from the king's house, and the 9 men who had been chosen as stewards stood forward. It was their business to manage everything connected with the sports, so they made the ground smooth and marked the wide space for the dancers. Presently, the servant came back with the Demedicus's lyra, and he took his place in the midst of them, whereon the best young dancers in the town began to foot and trip so nimbly that Odysseus delighted with the merry twinkling of their feet. Jeez. Meanwhile, the bard began to sing the loves of Ares and I think Aphrodite, right, is Venus. And how they first began their intrigue in the house of Vulcan. Ares and Aphrodite made many presents and defiled King Vulcan's marriage bed, so the son who saw that they were about told Vulcan. Vulcan was very angry when he heard such dreadful news, so he went to his smithy brooding mischief and got his great anvil into his place. Wait, is Vulcan, Hephaestus? Is that what I'm... Siri. What is Venus, Vulcan, and Mars in the Greek translation? Greek? What do you mean, which language?
I can't translate him.
God bless it. I wish you could. Hey Siri. What is Venus, Mars, and Vulcan in Greek?
Here's an answer from AskAstrology.com and JessicaDuns.com.
Okay, Aphrodite, Mars, and Vulcan. Hephaestus! I had to, because the anvil gave it away. Oh my gosh. That's his Roman name? Oh, that's crazy, Vulcan. Meanwhile, the bard began to sing the loves of Mars, Ares and Aphrodite, and how they first began their intrigue in the house of Hephaestus. Ares and Aphrodite... Mars made... Oh, shit. Ares made Aphrodite many presents and defiled King Hephaestus' marriage bed, so the son who saw what they were about told Hephaestus. Hephaestus was very angry when he heard such dreadful news, so he went to his smithy brooding mischief and got his great anvil into its place, and began to forge some chains in which none could never either unloose or break, so that they might stay there in that place. When he had finished his snare, he went into his bedroom and festooned the bedposts all over with chains like cobwebs. He also let many hang down from the great beam of the ceiling. Not even a god could see them, so fine and subtle they were they. As soon as he had spread the chains all over the bed, he made as though he were setting out for the fair state of Lamos, but which of all takes in the world was the one he was most fond of. But Ares kept no blind lookout, and as soon as he saw him start, he hurried off to his house, burning with love for Aphrodite. Now Aphrodite was just come in from a visit to her father Zeus, and was about to sitting down when... That's literally how it's said in the text, I'm not joking. It would be like about to sit down when Ares came inside the house, and said as he took her hand in his own, "Let us go to the couch of Hephaestus. He's not at home, but is off at Lamos among the Scythians, and whose speech is barbarous. She was nothing loath, so they went to the couch and take their rest, whereon they were caught in the toils of cunning Hephaestus had spread for them, and they could neither get up nor sit hand or foot, but found too late that they were in a trap. Then Hephaestus came up to them, for he had turned back before reaching Lamos, when his scout, the sun, told him what was going on. He was in a furious passion, and stood in the vestibule, making a dreadful noise as he shouted to all the gods. "Father Zeus," he cried, "and all your other blessed gods who live forever, come here to see the ridiculous and disgraceful sight that I will show you. Zeus's daughter Aphrodite is always dishonoring me because I am lame. She's in love with Ares, who is handsome and clean built, whereas I'm a cripple, but my parents are to blame for that. Not I, they ought to never had forgotten me. Come to come and see the pair together sleep in my bed. It makes me furious to look at them. They are very fond of one another, but I do not think they will lie here longer than it can help. Nor that I think that they will sleep much. There, however, they shall stay until her father has repaid me the sum I gave him for his baggage of a daughter, who is fair but not honest. Damn, Hephaestus. On this, the gods gathered to the house of Vulcan. No, Hephaestus. Earth encircling Poseidon came, and Hermes, the bringer of luck, and King Apollo, but the goddesses stayed at home for all of them for shame. Then the givers of all good things stood in the doorway and blessed God's word in indistinguishable laughter as they saw how cunning Hephaestus had been, whereon he would turn towards his neighbors, saying, "Ill deeds do not prosper, the weak and the confound the strong. See how limping Hephaestus, lame as he is, has caught Ares, who is the fleetest god in heaven, and now Ares will be cast in heavy damages." Thus they did converse, but King Apollo said to Hermes, "Messenger Hermes, give her good things. Would you not care how strong the chains were? Would you, if you could sleep with Aphrodite?" I'm gonna do my dumb Hermes impression for the epic version, where he's just like, "Oh, hi, Magby. Sorry, I didn't see you come in either. I was really focused into the freaking into the story. I just saw your thing now. How's it? How art thou? How are things going with you?" I'll take a minute because I need to go to sip of water for a second. If I like how people are coming in now, like how many minutes in? Like 30 minutes. So good. The thing might be delayed a little bit. Well, not as much as delay. No, I'm glad you were focused. Okay, cool. I think the stream is a bit synced up more than usual, which is a good sign. So I think I'll be able to, reply better. Not like a minute late. "Oh, you made brownies. Which kind?" I usually ask because there's different kinds and people do interesting stuff with them. I personally like the Ghirlandaio chocolate brownies. Those are really good to bake. Because Ghirlandaio is really good. I know people also like do mint brownies, or like sometimes they put nuts in them, which I don't mind, which is nice. Like you put nuts in them. I'm trying to think what else you can do with brownies. You can like put vegetables in them. I've heard that's a thing too. Yeah, I'm checking something. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, I was gonna read off those. I made those with homemade chocolate frosting and oh, I was right! Dude, Ghirlandaio's great. I fucking love those. Oh, homemade, that's the best, you know, when you have homemade stuff. Homemade is just underrated. Like, you can't just beat, like, stuff made from scratch. You made it yourself and it's not, like, store-bought. Oh. Chocolate sprinkles on top? Oh, man. That sounds really good. Oh, man. Yeah, it sounds really good. So extra the chocolate. That's like really nice. Now you're making me want to make my want to make me brownies. Oh fuck. Oh fuck, I can't believe you've done this. Oh, I know, they're really good. I haven't had them in a while. I just haven't had the time to do it. That's kind of where I'm at with it. But hopefully in the future I will. Maybe like when I graduate I can celebrate with brownies or something. Like So alright, we're on with Hermes. I no longer want store-bought cakes for my birthday. A soppy homemade cake is where it's at. Heck yeah, man. Yeah. Get me one of those, like, even if it's, like, crappily made, I would gladly take it. It still has like the love and the passion in it. Like, you can't just beat that, you know? That's because that's what is missing. It's like store-bought. It's just store-bought. You just throw it in. But when it's homemade, you know that there's a certain passion in there, a certain flavor of love in there, I should say. You know. Oh, there's 4 people watching. Wow. 3 likes, damn. How many pages do I got left of book 8? I'm almost done with book 8. Almost to book 9. It looks like we're gonna, once we get to book 9, I think what we're gonna end up doing, I didn't know that Odysseus was like, oh, I'm gonna tell you my story of how I got here. Hi, Soph! How's it going? It's good to see you. I know that you guys probably missed a few things, but I don't know, it's fine. I've been happily enjoying myself reading the Odyssey. With the lopsided cake from Sleeping Beauty. Oh yeah, I forgot that was a thing in there. How art thou, Soph? How are things going in your life? Magby just made brownies, as you can probably see by the chat. And I think the stream is a little bit, like I said earlier, the stream is more, what do you say, synced? The stream isn't far behind from the initial recording, so I'll be able to, like, reply to your stuff quicker. I think that was the problem last time. I didn't start the streaming in time of the recording, so that kind of delayed shit. Who would have thought that would have been the problem? Good, how are you guys? I'm good. I'm kind of procrastinating with homework, but it's not, like, difficult homework or anything. I had to get one of my financial accounting homework for the week done. Oh, I saw a movie last night. Iron Lung. That was a fun movie. I really liked it, actually. It was really surprising for, like, okay, I know this is, like, we're doing the Odyssey here, but, like, I want to talk about Iron Lung because that is still on my mind after literally seeing it last night. For an indie film, it's really fucking good. I know it's, like, not much because the whole time... Okay, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie, the Markiplier movie that's been, like, talked about. Oh, yeah, I forgot, yeah. You're kind of stuck in the submarine the whole movie, which is fine. It's still effective. Like, regardless, even if you're stuck in the submarine pretty much the whole time, which makes it more effective because you feel like you're claustrophobic with Mark, you know, the whole time. Doing great here at the Guns Brother. Yeah, Iron Lung, I'm really glad it's getting the praise it deserves, because Mark had worked on this practically for like 3 to 4 years, which is... And I feel that because I've done... I've done stories that are taking a long time, and it does, it's a process. You gotta make sure that you have everything... Even though I'm not, like... I don't work with camera very often, like, knowing the specs and stuff, at least knowing some knowledge, and, like, but prepping, like, a script, and getting, like, a crew, getting what program you're using, and yada yada, whatnot. I mean, it makes sense. It still applies. The creative process still applies, and how you're gonna get across to that point. I mean, right now, I'm actually the internship's going well. I'm actually learning how to use Premiere Pro now, which I need to finish, like, a video for it, so I can get more used to the program, but... Yeah, Magby, exactly. You're basically stuck in the entire game, in that submarine, and they do that quite well, and man, dude, the visuals, like, there's some visuals in that movie that are so fucking good. The only one thing is that, like, the sound might be a little off, like, the dialogue's kind of hard to hear, but once that's on streaming, hopefully, and hopefully maybe there's a Blu-ray DVD or something for Iron Lung. I would fucking love to own it. Like, a copy of it. But, for, like, again, it passed on as, like, a really good freaking movie. Despite it being, like, an indie film, and Mark basically just doing... And they even use the same camera lens as we do at our school. It's crazy, and I'm like... At the credits, I was like, oh my god, they used the same exact lens, the infrared lenses. I'm like, holy crap, that's so cool. It did look like what we would have used. It was, God, it was so cool. Um, anyway, yeah. Ireland was pretty good. Yes, hopefully it gets to streaming in hard copy. Yeah, because, again, I'm a proud owner of physical media, because I feel like something about, I think I've said this before, this is why I have a physical book right next to me of the Odyssey. I don't care. I feel like if you turn a page and read it physically, I feel like you get more out of it than just reading it like on a Kindle or something. That's why I never liked reading things digitally, because it just doesn't stick in your freaking mind as well as like if you had like a freaking book right in front of you, because you're literally directing your brain to like sit down and actually read it. I like owning movies on DVD. If I have like old DVDs, but like I have like animes on Blu-ray now. I have like Fullmetal Alchemist on Blu-ray. I've got Attack on Titan on Blu-ray. Like, Blu-ray's cool, even though I don't watch them as much. They're good quality. It's like, you know, because sometimes like streaming, for me, it's more like a convenience. Like then I don't have to lug around my DVDs everywhere. But then there's like that thing where like they take off things off streaming services, and I'm like, at least I still own it. Unless you pirate things. Sometimes that happens with me too. I pirate stuff if I can't access it on like a disc or something like that. And it works. Dude, VHS is great too. It's like a very classy thing with VHS. It's nice to still have like physical copies of that, because it's like a bygone era. Even though that was like, what, 30 years ago? Per se, but yeah, I still have like my fair share of like DVDs and Blu-rays. The book is very important to experience. Yeah, because you're literally just opening up to another world and you're reading about it, and then when you close it, you're back in the real world. If you think about it, that's kind of like how it is, how it feels. It's really cool. Again, but for college, kind of made me fear off from reading, because it feels more like a task, and it doesn't feel like, you know, like you need to read it. It's not like much of a want to read it. That's kind of like the sucky thing about college, is like they suck it out. That's why people use it for indie horror projects. Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to think how, because Mark is the only one who distributes, or is the one that's like distributing it. I'm sorry. And I know streaming's gonna become a thing. I just wonder, like, if there's going to be, like, a point where he eventually, do a petition where he, like, can make a Blu-ray or something. Because that would be sick. 4K? Yeah, that too! You know? Right, and we miss out on amazing books because there's no fun to it. Yeah, it's... Exactly. Like, even if the books are good, right? You want to read them, but like it feels like a chore, like if they're assigned to you, and I'm like, well then make it interesting to make you want to read it, you know? That's kind of the thing, like, it's not gonna work if you don't, like, make it interesting, like, oh, this is why I was reading Stephen King books, not much Stephen King books, but like, I read, parts of Christine, not the whole way through, but the Christine book, because I was really obsessed with, like, the movie in high school. And I wanted to know what the original source material was. And, because I was curious about it. See, it's just wanting to read it for yourself. And that's the same thing with, you know, the Odyssey. I wanted to read it for myself because Epic the Musical adapted from it. And I was like, I like, even though it's, like, older English, like, I'm still gonna like it. Like, I know it's, again, I mentioned this in the last stream. It's not gonna be a 101. I know that. But it's still fun to read it, guys. Come on. Like, I've seen a video of, like, a summary of, like, the Odyssey, and people are like, this is, like, nothing like Epic. And I'm like, what the fuck do you expect, dude? The only signed book I really liked was I got in my biology class of all things. It's called Clan of the Cave Bear, and I could not put it down. Yeah. That was me in high school, too. The one book that I did like out of the books they assigned us was, I mean, To Kill the Mockingbird was, like, interesting, but Animal Farm, oh boy. that shit got me cling to George Orwell, and that eventually led me to read 1984, because I've been telling my dad, and I think a teacher once, I was like, yeah, I really liked Animal Farm, and they're like, have you read 1984? I'm like, no, and I read it, and I'm like, oh, this is just a really sad and terrifying book. But George Orwell's a good author too. Anyway, back to Hermes. Our little messenger king Hermes. Although he's literally talking to King Apollo. So, gotta do this in Hermes' voice. Oh, this is gonna be fun. King Apollo, answered Mercury. I only wish I might not get the chance. Wait, I only wish I might get the chance. There were wait, shoot. I'm already following this. There were 3 times as many chains, and you might look on, all of you, gods and goddesses, but I would sleep with her if I could. Oh, yeah! Like, he would be just doing that the whole time. The immortal gods burst out laughing as they heard him, but Poseidon took it all seriously. I love how Poseidon's just there. Hi, Poseidon. They kept on imploring Hephaestus. That's Vulcan, by the way. If you heard of Vulcan in the past when I was reading these, that's Hephaestus, I just found out. The immortal gods burst out laughing, Jesus, as they heard him, but Poseidon took it all seriously and kept imploring Hephaestus to set Ares free again. Let him go, he cried, and I will undertake, as you require, that he shall pay you all the damages that are held reasonable among the immortal gods. Do not, replied Hephaestus. Ask me to do this. A bad man's bond is a bad security, but what remedy could I enforce against you if Ares should go away and leave his debts behind him along with his chains? Hephaestus, said Poseidon, if Ares goes away without paying his damages, I will pay you myself. Jesus Christ! Oh man, I forgot Poseidon's just like, brother, nah man. Oh goodness. So Hephaestus answered, in this case I cannot and must not refuse you. He's like, fine. Theron, he loosed the bonds that bound them, and as soon as they were free, they scampered off. Ares to Thrace and laughter-loving Aphrodite to Cyprus and to Papithos, where her grove and her altar fragrant with burnt offerings. Here's the Graces bathed her, and anointed her with an oil of ambrosia, such as the immortal gods make use of, and they clothed her in the remnant of the most enchanting beauty. Thus sang the bard, and both Odysseus and the seafaring Phoenicians were charmed as they heard him. Then Actinius and told Laodamas and Helios to dance alone, for there was no one to compete with them. So they took a red ball which Cleobus had made for them, and one of them bent himself backwards and threw it up towards the clouds, while the other jumped off from the ground and caught it with ease before it came down again. When they had done throwing the ball straight up into the air, they began to dance, and at the same time kept on throwing it backwards and forwards to one another, while all the young men in the ring applauded and made a great stamping with their feet. Then Odysseus said, King Aclinius, you said your people were the nimbus dancers in the world, and indeed they have proved themselves to be so. I was astonished when I saw them. The king was delighted at this, and exclaimed to the Phoenicians, aldermen and the town councilors, our guest seems to be a person of singular judgment. Let us give him such proof that our hospitality as he may reasonably respect. There are 12 chief men among you, and counting them myself are 13. Contribute each of you a clean cloak, a shirt, and a talent of fine gold. Let us give him all this in a lump down at once, so that when he gets his supper he may do so with a light heart. As for Eurylius, he will have to make a formal apology and a present too, for he has been rude. Thus he did speak, and the others, for all of them, applauded his saying, and sent their servants to fetch the presents. Then Eurylochus, Jesus. Then Eurylochus said, King Aclinius, I will give the stranger all the satisfaction you require. He shall have my sword, which is of bronze, but all but the hilt, which is of silver. I will so give him the scabbard of newly sawn ivory, to which it fits. It will be worth a great deal to him. As he spoke, he placed the sword in the hands of Odysseus and said, Good luck to you, father stranger. If anything has been said amiss, may the winds blow it away from them, and may heaven grant you a safe return, for I understand you have been a long way from home, and have gone through much hardship. To Odysseus answered, Good luck to you too, my friend, and may the gods grant you with every happiness. I hope you will not miss the sword you have given me along with your apology. Oh, is that how Odysseus grabbed the sword in the... Because I've seen animatics of, like, Epic, where, like, he has this, like, sword. Is this the sword that he got, like, from the... That is cool. I think. I'm on a hunch. Just, I wouldn't know, but... I feel like that making that connection is, it's quite important. With these words he girded the sword around his shoulders, and towards the sundown and the presents began to make their appearance, as the servants of the donors kept bringing them to the house of King Aclinius. Here his sons received them and placed them under their mother's charge. Then Aclinius led the way to the house and bade his guests with their seats. Wife, said he, turning to Queen Arete, go fetch the best chest we have and put a clean cloak and shirt in it. Also set a chopper. Also set a chopper. Just set a freaking, like, helicopter. Set a helicopter to Ithaca. Okay. Wife, said he, turning to go fetch the best chest we have. Also set a copper on the fire and heat some water. Our guests will take a warm bath, and see also the careful packing of the presents that the noble Phoenicians have made him. He will thus better enjoy both his supper and the singing that will follow. Man, they just love food and singing. That's what they really, the Greeks really like, man. I shall give him this golden goblet, which is exquisite workmanship, that he may be reminded of me for the rest of his life, whoever he makes a drink offering to Zeus, or to any of the gods. Then Arete told her maids to set a large tripod upon the fire as fast as they could, whereon they set a tripod full of bath water onto a clear fire, and they threw on sticks to make it ablaze, and the water became hot as the flame played about the belly of the tripod. Interesting. So that's... Well, there you go. That's how they heated baths back then, was just fire. They're like, make a warm bath! Woo. This is probably why people shouldn't compare Epic to the actual material it's loosely based on. Thank you! Yeah, exactly! People are, like, jump to conclusions like, oh my god, it's like a straight thing! I'm like, no, it's not. Get to the chopper! Yep, exactly. Get to the chopper now! Go to Ithaca and kill all the suitors! Now! And, like... Where the hell did you get a chopper from? Just go! I came from the future. Yeah, came from the future. Sorry, I was making a bit. Meanwhile, Akrib bought a magnificent chest from her own room and set it inside it. She packed all the beautiful presents of the gold and raiment which the Phoenicians had brought. Lastly, she added a cloak and good shirt from Aclinius and said to Odysseus, see to the lid yourself, and have the whole bound around at once, for fear anyone should rob you by the way when you are asleep in your ship. When Odysseus heard this, he put the lid on the chest and made it fast with a bond that Circe had taught him. Circe! He had done so with before, and an upper servant told him to come to the bath and wash himself. He was very glad of a warm bath. I would too. For he had no one to wait upon him ever since he left the house of Calypso, who was, long as he remained with her, had taken as good care of him as though he had been a god. When the servants had done washing and Antonium with oil, man, they really love their oil, and had given him a clean cloak and shirt, he had left the bathroom and joined the guests who were sitting over their wine. Lovely Noastica stood by one of the bearing posts supporting the roof of the closeteer, and admired him as she saw him pass. "Farewell, stranger," said she. "Do not forget me when you are safe at home again, for it is me first that you owe a ransom in having saved your life." And Odysseus said, Noistica. I think that's how I pronounced it last time. Don't quote me on that. "Daughter of the great Ancunius, may Zeus, the mighty husband of Juno..." Bro, is Zeus... My man. Zeus is gay? Shut the hell up, man. That's so funny. Oh, that just a big pot. Yup, people stew. That's really good. Yeah, I mean, hang on. Let me look this shit up. Oh yeah, oil was the best thing for skin back then, especially when you had tons of resources to make it right there. That makes sense, actually. Because it's like, it's weird. I mean, people still use oil for things, but like, I don't see a lot of people, like, using that for skin now. That's usually just with, you know, lotion or something like that. That would be like the equivalent, modern equivalent of like lotion or something. But oil can be used for different, like, people still use some oil, but not like the same capacity, I think, as back then, obviously. But yeah, if you had like, no wonder why they liked it, because they just had, because they had the resources, obviously, like Magby said. Really, all the gods and goddesses would bed down with anybody except for Hera, but she had her own problems. Yeah, I know. Zeus has been like, I know he's like a freaking man, like, what do you call him? Not a slut, because that's the woman's but he's more of like a, not a womanizer either, because he sleeps with men too. Like, I like how casually Odysseus said that. That's so I just find that so funny. Like, oh man. I keep forgetting that Greek mythology has that. Again, as someone who hasn't really read much Greek mythology, it's still, I'm learning something every day. Let me, Oh, okay. Juno is Hera. That makes sense. Okay. I thought Juno was a guy's name. Like, Zeus is like a woman. I think that's the name? Womanizer? The male version? I don't know. I mean, there's a bunch of words. Zeus is the horn dog of the... literally. Even Apollo is more class than... Yeah, exactly. Zeus has just been sleeping with everybody. Like, they even address this in Epic themselves, which is funny, where Athena's like, never once has he cheated on his wife. I'm talking about Odysseus, and then I think he was talking to Hera, who was with Zeus, and she's like, ooh, yeah, sorry, Zeus, you do this, like, constantly a lot, like, that's why she's like, fine, release him. That makes a lot of sense. Anyway. May Zeus, the mighty husband of Hera, grant I may reach my home, so I shall bless you with my guardian angel all my days, for it was you who saved me. When he had said this, he seated himself beside Ancunius. Supper was then served, and the wine was mixed for drinking. A servant led in the favorite bard, Democrotus, and set him in the midst of the company, near one of the bearing posts supporting the closeteer, that he might lean against it. Then Odysseus cut off a piece of roast pork with a plenty of fat, for there was abundance left on the joint, and said to his servant, "Take this piece of pork over to Demicus and tell him to eat it, for all the pain For all the pain his lays may cause me, because I will salute him nonetheless. Bards are honored and respected throughout the world, for the muse teaches them their songs and loves them. The servant carried the pork in his fingers over to Demodocus, who took it and was very much pleased. They then laid their hands on the good things that were before them, and as soon as they had eat and drink, Odysseus said to Demodocus, is it Demodocus? Now I think I'm getting it, because I keep missing the dough in the middle. Me pronouncing things, dude. Me and my best friend love that part. Yeah. Everyone says he cheated on his wife. Fine, release him. Aphrodite's at least the goddess of love, so she's got an excuse. Yeah. Very true. Zeus just loves to sleep with anyone. He's just like, yeah, I'll take anyone, dude. Demodocus, there is no one in the world whom I admire more than I do you. You must have studied under the muse, Zeus's daughter, and under Apollo, who so accurately you do sing the return of Archaeans with all their sufferings and adventures. You were not there yourself. You must have heard all it from someone who was. Now, however, change your song and tell us of the wooden horse which Epidus made with the assistance of Athena, which Odysseus got by the stratagem to the fort of Troy after freighting it with the men who afterwards sacked the sky. If you sing this tale alright, I will tell you all the world how magnificently heaven has endowed you. The bard inspired of heaven took up the story at the point where some of the Argives set fire to their tents and sailed away, while others, hidden from within the horse, were waiting with Odysseus in the Trojan palace of assembly. For the Trojans themselves had drawn the horse to their fortress, and had stood there while they sat in a council around it, and were three minds as to what they should do. Some were for breaking it up then and there, others would have dragged it to the top of the rock on which the fortress stood, and then thrown down the hang on. I have to English. Whoa. The fuck happened? It blinked. What? That. Oh, did it start looping again? Oh, it did. Yeah. It did. Wow, that freaked the shit out of me. I thought it was... that scared the shit. I thought my freaking thing was going crazy. Alright, let's see. Oh, man, are you getting, notifications about how bad the winter is going on? Florida's, getting the short end of the stick with, the freaking, cold weather and all that. I can't pronounce one freaking word. What the heck, man? Precipice. Okay, that makes more sense. I was trying to, pronounce it correctly in my head. Some of it were breaking up then and there. Others would have dragged it to the top of the rock which the fortress stood and then thrown down the precipice. While yet others were still letting it remain as an offering and proposition? Something like that. For the gods, and this is how they settled it in the end. For the city was doomed when it took in that horse, within which all the bravest of the Argives waiting to bring death and destruction on the Trojans. And we all know where that song came from. Alright, my brothers, listen closely. Tonight we make the Trojans pay. 10 years of war they killed us slowly. Now we'll be the ones who slay. Think of your wives, of your children. Think of your wives and your children. I'm sorry. Your families wonder where you've been. They're growing old and yet you're still here. Do what I say and you'll see them again. Yes, sir. Diomedes will lead the charge. Agamemnon will flank the guards. Like Odysseus starts like singing that shit like he's telling to the king. Oh man. So far, no dropped frames. That's good. Yeah, I saw that. Please tell me you're staying safe with the crazy weather by you. I'm fine. I'm not experiencing snow. I'm like in West Palm Beach area. So like we don't have... all we've been having was just rain. Like, I'm more worried about you, Magby, because you're up in Wisconsin, which is like where the brunt of like the cold weather is. Because, you know, Wisconsin's weather is like fucking like crazy up there. You know? I think we're gonna have like gale, like a lot of wind. But yeah, today has been like really gloomy with rain. Right now it's like 59 degrees out. But yeah, we're having like a winter weather threat. Oh, adverse winter weather is occurring or expected. Potential threats include power disruption and wind. Thanks, I love that, Florida. When I went outside today and it was like not snowing, I wish. It would be kind of funny if it did snow. And it was raining, I'm like, it feels like home. It feels like Oregon all over again. Yeah, but tomorrow it's gonna drop to like 51. And yeah, it's not, in the lowest tonight it's gonna be like 31 degrees. We're 20 degrees F today, that's near spring temps for us. Yeah, that's a little warmer than I thought, because I thought that sometimes it's usually like, I don't know, 20 below at least, because I did live in Wisconsin for a while, when I was like younger, but not like now, but like I spend my time in Wisconsin enough times to kind of know. Same, the height of the day is like 15. I know, it's crazy. Like, I know like you guys are suffering up there, wherever you guys are, but like Florida's just like, well, we're getting but like, well, to be honest, it's because of the, you know, because of Florida being like a tropical state and being more towards like the equator makes sense, it'd be warmer. But it's crazy that we're just getting like cold down here. It's nuts. And then seeing people like saying like, oh my god, it's so cold, I'd be like, well, not for me. It's awesome, I love it. Like, I freaking love it when it's like, when people start freaking out, it's so cold, like, this is supposed to be like Florida, and I'm like, I don't know why. I just like watching people being like, I don't know, why do I like watching people suffer? Not to say it literally, I don't like watching people suffer, but just watching them just being like, that just gets a laugh out of me. It gets a laugh out of me. Half buried deep in snow here. Yeah. Exactly. Like, you guys are, I wish we had snow at least a little bit. I know that Florida is gonna have, like, record-breaking temperatures because of this, which is crazy. Like, some of this, like, it wasn't as cold since, like, the 70s or, like, the 30s. Like, that's kind of like how far back Florida, like, this is why it's, like, a big deal this weekend because of that. It's nuts. Anyway, we gotta finish book 8. Yeah, I think that was for Lorene's Who Used to Heat Not Last 2 Seconds by Me today. Yeah, for real, though. My roommate, who has lived in Miami for, like, all her life, poor thing, she's, like, sneezing, her nose is, like, runny and, like, sensitive to the cold. I'm like, man, I mean, if you've been down here all your life with the heat, it's, like, it's gonna affect you. But for me, who's from Oregon, who gets, like, annually, like, cold weather, even though we hadn't had snow in a while, like, a lot of snow, or especially where I'm in, technically, it still gets cold. It still gets, like, in the 40s. Let's see where we're going here. Okay, so they're talking about the Trojan War. Anon, he sang about the sons of Achilleans who issued from the horse and sacked the town, breaking out from their ambuscade. He sang how they overran the city, Hyther and Heather, and ravaged it, and how Odysseus went raging like Ares along with the Menelaus to the house of Deiphobia. Oh, there we go! What were we just talking about? Like, they literally heard, like, the bard is literally singing the song, probably. Oh my god. Literally, they just said Menelaus. It was there that the fight raged most furiously. Nevertheless, by Athena's help, he was victorious. All this was told, but Odysseus was overcome as he heard him, and his cheeks were wet with tears. No! Not Odysseus again! Dude! He's just like, tell me the song again, or tell me, like, the story of the Trojan War, and then the bard sings, and then Odysseus, like, like, it's literally like the equivalent of, like, you know, you're suffering and you should stop, but then, like, you're like, you continue to be sad about it, you still, like, have it spiral in your head, you're like, like, it's very real. That's very real. This poor Odysseus, bro, I feel so bad. I want to give him a hug, please? Can I, like, can I go, like, through the book? Oh, man. He wept as a woman weeps when she throws herself on the body of her husband who has fallen before his own city and people, fighting bravely in defense of his home and children. She screams aloud and flings her arms about him as he lies gasping for breath and dying, but her enemies beat her from behind from the back of the shoulders and carry her off to slavery, to a life of labor and sorrow. When the beauty fades from her cheeks, so did precipitously did Odysseus weep, but none of those present perceived his tears except Clinias, who was sitting near him, and he could hear the sobs and sighs that he was heaving. The king therefore rose and said, "Aldermen of the town and town councilors of the Phoenicians, let Demodocus cease his song, for there who is present who do not seem to like it." From the moment... Oh no, the king's like, oh man, oh no, oh god, I gotta stop this, because he's just in a lot of pain. That metaphor's crazy. Yeah, oh gosh, drag the man out of the book and no, literally. Dude, he really is in his feelings. Like, I feel this man. Like, like, dude, he's like going through it. Give this man a hug. Get this man back to his fucking family already. Literally, this. I know this is like I think I mentioned this earlier, but a lot of people weren't here though. I made the connection between the portal arc of Minecraft Story Mode and the Odyssey. Literally, it's the same fucking thing. They go through different portals. Oh no! Different things! And then different obstacles, and then they finally get home and they're like, ah! Like, it's literally the same fucking thing. It's so funny how I just made that connection. Like, the sports themselves, like, we were just going through the sports earlier because they were competing, and Odysseus is like, brother, I am tired and mad, and you just making me angry by just saying that I have no skill in whatsoever in these things you call sports or whatnot. Like, I, like, outrank every single one of you, and I'm very... He says it so formally, like, I'm very angry. I'm, like, angry at you. Like... Just that it's so funny how, like, formal they are in terms of their, like, language. It's so interesting. Like, they don't, like, do action. They just speak. Like, so formally. Where's the bag of wind already? Wait, why is it so true? Oh my god. Yeah, I know! It's so I made that connection when I was reading. I'm like, wait a second. This reminds me of how they're trying to get home. And Jesse gets fucking mad like Odysseus. He's just like, no man, I'm done with this shit. We're going home, okay? He even says it in the game. Like, we've been in your stupid fucking portal hallway for too long. We have to get back. Oh god. It's also season 2 because they're trying to get back from the whole bullshit they're going with the admin too. So literally like Beacon Town's like Ithaca or some shit like that. It's so fucking funny. This whole... All roads lead to the Odyssey, that's what they're saying. Oh man. Verse reform, we love good communication. Redstone Heart is the windbag confirmed. Right? The item? Oh my god, yeah. Yes, communication is lost in today's world. Yeah, exactly. Like, people seem to jump to at least their emotions first before, like, they speak their minds out. Like, and you see this, they go very in detail how people talked back then of, like, their dialect. Like, they formally speak what they think, and then they go through with their actions, and they're like, "Oh, good sir, I'm obliged that it put your anger, and I, like, I understand why you're angry. You may fordo this upon thee," or something like that. It's very Shakespearean too, I feel like. But like, it's very, I just, man, that's just fascinating. I'm hoping someone made an Odyssey. Dude, I think someone did, somewhat, but like not as, they didn't come in fruition. But I would have loved that if they would have done like an Odyssey bit. I wouldn't be, again, like I said earlier, I wouldn't be surprised if like the Odyssey was an inspiration for the Portal arc. Even if it wasn't, it gives off that vibe unintentionally. Like, dude, no wonder why I connect with Odysseus. He's literally Jesse right now. Like, literally what he was in the frickin'... I can't. Like, Jesse's like the 2015 equivalent of Odysseus. Like, I can't anymore. Except his crew... Like, Odysseus had lost everything. Jesse didn't. He was with his crew. So, that's at least the difference. But, like... Bro, I can't... I would love to see, like, an AU with the Odyssey. I was considering doing one with Stranger Things, which is like like a weird fucking thing, but like that would be kind of interesting, just doing like a Greek mythology kind of AU with the most weirdest shit. Odyssey, I can't spell either, dude. I can't spell it either. Like I was just about to say that, Magby. It would be so cool. And I know! Would it be fucking badass? Like, it wouldn't be like, I don't know how that AU would work out. I mean, we can discuss it after we get... I think we're trying to get to book 9, guys. Oh my god. Yeah, so Odysseus is crying. He's like, I just want to get home already. So literally, like, if the Odyssey AU happened with story mode, literally, like, you would just see Jesse crying in the corner, like, like him just being like, I just want to go home, man. I think I saw a fan art of that many years ago, of Jesse just being like, I'm tired. I can't just get to fucking home. Like, he's just at his fucking limit. Patience, young one. Anyway, aldermen and town councilors of the Phaeacians, let Demodocus cease his song, for there who those present do not seem to like it. For the moment we had done supper and Demodocus began to sing, our guests have been all the time groaning and lamenting. He's like literally straight up telling them, guys, Odysseus is crying, dude. Stop. Let this poor man, like, not suffer anymore. Yeah, the steps are there, but they had not maintained the exact ones to get there, but it happened. The weird areas for Stranger Things, I have not even looked. Oh, man. I even, like, here's a couple, like, Stranger Things stuff I thought of. Like, can you imagine, like, I even thought of a World War I AU with them. With the kids just enlisting and then fighting in the trenches. And then you have, I thought of a Breaking Bad one, because there's a point in season 5 where they're stealing benzos, and that gave me the idea. I'm like, you know what? Breaking Bad Stranger Things idea would be interesting. He wants to sleep in his own bed, look at his woman's picture already. Literally! Oh, man. That's, oh, Jesus. It's just so... The connections here are crazy. He is evidently in great trouble, so let the bard leave off, so that we may all enjoy ourselves, hosts and guests alike. This will be much more as it should be for all these festivities with the escort in the presence that we are making with so much good will or woolly in his honor. Anyone with even a moderate amount of right feeling knows that he ought to treat a guest in a suppliant as though he were his own brother. Therefore, sir, do you on your part affect no more concealment or nor reserve in the matter about which I shall ask you. It will be more polite in you to give me a plain answer. Tell me the name by which your father and mother over yonder used to call you. He's literally asking this, like, the long version of saying, can you tell me your name and where you came from? Tell me your story! You know what I'm saying? Like, by which you are known among your neighbors and fellow citizens. There is no one, neither rich nor poor, who is absolutely without any name whatsoever, for people's fathers and mothers gave them names as soon as they are born. Tell me also about your country, nation, city, that our ships may shape their purpose accordingly and take you there. For the nations have no pilots, their vessels have no rudders of those who other nations have, but the ships themselves understand what it is that we are thinking about and want. They know all the cities and countries in the whole world, and they can traverse the sea just as well as they, even when it is covered with mist and cloud, so that there is no danger of being wrecked or coming to any harm. I still do remember hearing my father say that Poseidon was angry with us for being too easygoing on the matter of giving people's escorts. He said that one of these days he shall wreck a ship of ours that it was returning from having escorted someone, and bury our city under high mountain. This is what my father used to say, but whether the god will carry out his threat or no is a matter of which he will decide for himself. And now, tell me true. Where have you been wandering, and what countries have you traveled? Tell us of the peoples themselves and their cities, who are hostile, savage and uncivilized, and who, on the other hand, hospitable and humane. Tell us also why you are made so unhappy on hearing about the return of Argive from Troy. The gods have arranged all this, and sent them to their misfortunes to order that the future generations might have something to sing about. Did you lose some brave kinsman of your wives when you were before Troy, a son-in-law, a father-in-law, which are the nearest relations a man has outside his own flesh and blood? Or was it some brave and kindly-natured comrade, for a good friend as is dear to a man as his own brother? Literally, the long-winded version of being like, alright, tell me what's wrong with you. What's going on? Why are you fucking sad? He's literally a therapist now. He's like, tell me your worries, dude. I'm here to listen. I'm all ears. I'm here to listen. What's going on? Why must the good and sweet always suffer? Honestly. Oh, dang. Yep. It's rough. And now we're getting into the material that Epic is doing, or Epic adapts from. Because this whole section of the king and all that, like, that wasn't even in the original musical, or is in the musical. Probably because this is like the prelude of Odysseus telling his journey home, and it makes sense that it would be through his POV yeah, I see why they switched that up, which makes sense. Alright. Book 9. Odysseus declares himself and begins his story. The Scions, the Lotus... Oh, this is the Lotus Eaters and the Cyclops. Oh boy! We're getting into this... We're getting into this territory. But first, I'm gonna take a break. I have been talking for an hour and a half. That's literally Lucas and Jesse. No, honestly, literally, his therapist, dude, like he's one of his therapists, bro. Dude, I kind of wish we had more, like, sweet scenes, or, like, at least, that reminds me, like, I really wish that they had, I don't know, like, developmental scenes like that, where they just kind of sit down and be like, Jesse, dude, Jesse's clearly traumatized this shit. They don't even let him fucking breathe for once. Like, dude, my man goes through so much, and they hide it. I mean, again, it's a kid's game, and I'm, like, really, like, reading deep into it. But when you look on the surface, it's like, dude, let that man just get a hug. Oh my god, dude. Like, Jesus. I can't. Oh, man. Like, when you're a kid, you don't really think about that stuff. I said that exact line in the documentary, but you're just having fun. It's like a good, jolly old adventure. And then once you experience something like that in real life, where, especially if you're a person who has to carry, like, so much weight, to something, it's like, it hits hard home, like, after you're being like, wow, no wonder why I liked this as a kid. As a Jessica shipper, I wanted to see Jesse and talk it out. Dude. For literally, Lucas's okay, listen. For a while I wasn't like a Jessica shipper. But there are some cases where it's an exception. Because, I always liked them like they were like close, because it wasn't canon, so I was more of like the, like not, I wasn't much of a shipper anyway to begin with anything. Until like, later, but I've grown fond of like, I love Jesse and Lucas for years, but I just never really was the type to ship them, which is, but then I've grown fond of it. I don't mind it, because there's really an AU where like, they're together, which is really sweet. It's called Crawl Through the Fallout, which is a really fucking good AU. I highly recommend it. And, dude, they're so adorable in that. And I am all for the platonic fucking thing. Like, dude, Jesse and Lucas are just like brothers in arms, dude. They have a pact with, they just have a pact with each other. I fucking love it. In Outbreak, it fucking hurts. Not gonna spoil that, but like, it's just, oh, God. It's literally like Sonic and Tails. It's like the story mode version of Sonic and Tails. That's literally what it feels like, you know what I'm saying? It's just because I wanted to see Jesse and Lucas no matter what. It's platonic, it will make it talk it out. It helps with everyone who helps. And like, yeah. Exactly, like I said earlier. My favorite things to do with the MCSM characters, pick them apart and wait, shoot. Just pick them apart like that and analyze their personalities. Even though it's just a kid's game, I'm happy that people are passionate about it. Even to this day, like, even if it's like fucking old, now like 10 years old, like a decade old, it's still like great to see people are actually liking it. And like, oh my god, I grew up with this game. You know, Buddy Bond, you see them as, yeah. Exactly. That's really portrayed in like what I create and stuff, and it's there. Like, I'm not gonna deny that. Like, it's, like I'm not gonna. But the ship has me in a chokehold. Yeah, I know. Right, exactly. I can see why, and I get it. People, despite not being much of a shipper myself, I still like. It makes sense why people ship them. It's there. Like, it's like the. I wouldn't say it's on like the Mike and Level stance, like that. Mike and Will from Stranger Things, for example, they have more of like a tension than Jesse and Lucas, because Jesse and Lucas are just like subtle. It's not as much as like people at I'm sorry, I'm like setting up like a bad example. I love the romance ones. Yeah, same. Romance is great. I've seen that one. Which one is that? Outbreak or Crawl Through the Fallout? Which one was that? Oh, I can already feel the pain. Yeah, because there's I'm trying to figure out where to place it, but there's gonna be like a flashback episode. I know this is like spoilery, but there was build up to when like like when Lucas woke up after 28 days. There's a block of time in 28 days where one episode takes place, and we see it through Jesse's perspective and what he did. Because Romeo mentioned in the earlier episodes, like, oh, I don't want to talk about it, like, something bad. He just wants to avoid it at all costs, because he doesn't want to upset Lucas over it. Because he knows that, like, because he knows that Jesse's, like, his best friend, and he's, like, he doesn't want to, and Romeo being the one who destroyed, like, almost destroyed Bigatown in the first place just makes it more ironic, and I'm like, I can't wait to put that on, freaking put that into format. It's, oh god, it's gonna be, I just don't know where to place it. It's just writing on top, it's just, Jesus. Crawl Through the Fallout. Okay, yeah, it's a good fic. It's really fucking good. Dare I say even, like, I'm online friends with the guy, or the person who wrote it. Really sweet person, she's really awesome. I'm actually making, like, a little, audio drama short for her, adapting one of, like, the scenes from the fic, which is gonna be fun to do. I actually never read it, though. It's a long fic, though. It's like 170 chapters, plus, like, a side story. It's fucking, like, crazy. But anyway, yeah, Outbreak, though? Yeah, that episode's gonna hurt, though. Like, I know eventually I have to remake the pilot episode, because that was just, like, a little short, I wanted to like update the voice acting a little bit, and like since I got Gabriel, as you know, who voiced Ivor in the fourth and second episode, like around those 3 episodes, he's coming back as Radar, so I have to add him on there. Slap it down no matter what a break was. When I was read, I think so. Yeah, it's a lot. I've read the fic when I was in high school, and I caught up with it. Dude, there's so many so many sagas in that whole thing. The premise of the Crawl Through Fallout is basically like, it's like a futuristic story where it takes, like, the world had fell from, like, it's kind of like Fallout, where, like, the world kind of fell from, like, a nuclear war. And we begin with, it's really cool, we begin with, like, the main group, Lucas, Maya, Aiden, Gil. They all go to this vault. They find, bada bing, Jesse inside this little, well, they don't know his name yet, but they find him in this, like, vault thing, this Bacta-tank. My man's been stuck there for 300 years. He's been in cryo-sleep. Just kidding. Well, literally, he's been frozen, I think, in a Bacta-tank for, like, 300 years. He's been frozen since, I think, the canon, year was, like, somewhere in the 2030s or 2040s, I think. And now it's, like, 23-something, like, after bombing. Like, it's such a... The way that Silver fucking did, like, the world building is astounding. I fucking love it. And it's like one of my favorite, if not like my favorite MCSMAU out there. Even though it's a long read, yes, but like, God, it's so well done. And this shit's been like written since like 2017, so it's been around for a long while. Yeah, I was about to explain. It starts off with that, but then it's like, it goes on there's like, Outbreak kind of took some inspiration from this. Like, there's gonna be, like, a cult, plotline, but that's not until later. It's not, like, in the same sense with what Crawl Through Fallout did. But, like, yeah. So, oh god, it's really, Jesse and Lucas get really close. They become boyfriends in it. It's so adorable. See, this is where I like it. Does it make sense? It's like, because Jesse used to have a crush, like, one of, like, the flashbacks of the story is, like, Jesse used to have this crush on this, like, blonde kid in, like, high school, and, like, since the bombs fell, like, he lost, and now, like, Luke's like, I'm just, Bro, and also when dude, the whole scene when Jesse had to realize, like, his parents are fucking dead, and, like, everything he knew was fucking gone. There's even a scene where, like, this is, like, way later, but, like, they are across, like, the snow. They're, like, walking in snow. This was during, like, one of the recent, like, sagas or eras or, arc, I should say. They call them arcs. I'm not gonna spoil it where it's at, but basically where he actually eventually finds his old home. He falls into the snow, he goes to his house, and it's his old house, and he's like, begins to have this meltdown. I'm like, stop! He imagine his mom and like, God! It's just pain. Why have to give me pain like that? And ironically, so in the server, like, I'm a part of, somebody made an animatic of that scene with the fucking Underworld song from Epic the Musical, and that was my first introduction to Epic as a whole anyway. I didn't even know it until then. Someone made a sad fucking thing, and it was... Oh my god. It's just, oh, my heart. Yeah, Silver just twists the knife deeper, dude. Like, she just does. I know. I think he envisions his mom too, and like, oh god, it's just so sad. Like, everyone has like their decent arcs. Like, Aiden though, him in this AU is great though. Like, him and the team, they have like different like trauma that they deal with. Like Petra, the badass bitch of the waste, man. Like, they have like a lot of, like, I think Lucas, there's a detail where he kept his 2 rings from his parents or something like that. he lost one of them eventually, something like that. And yeah, dude. Oh man, I'm not gonna spoil any further. It's really fucking good. I highly recommend it, even though it's gonna be like a long watch, but not a long watch. I'm sorry, long read, but it's worth it. Anyway, what else can we talk about? Hang on, actually, let me get water. Because I'm out of water. Did I forget to mention that Aiden and Lucas were actually formerly lovers in that AU, Crawler to the Fallout, which is interesting. Just wanted to throw that out there too. So there's a bit of like Aiden x Lucas, and it's really nice. It's like, there's even like a little, I'm sorry, I don't mean to ramble too much about it, but there's even a scene like near the beginning where all of the group, is like all sleeping together, like on a pile to keep them warm, and it's just because also part of the story is that they're trying to run away from this corporation, or this like what do you call it, organization, but it's more like a corporation called PAMA. That's where the PAMA comes from. There's like these PAMA agents that are after, because Aiden and Jesse, again, they just try to run away from PAMA, because Jesse and Aiden are like PAMA experiments, and Jesse is needed for a very important reason. But again, I am not gonna spoil it, because you have to read it for yourself of why they want it. Well, they didn't really reveal much yet, the exact reason, but there's subtle moments in the story where like, okay, it's building up to something like that. So Magby, this story is called Crawl Out Through the Fallout by Silver Silence 14, I think. Again, highly recommend it. Even though it's lengthy, but it's worth it. I'm telling you, it's worth it, dude. It's so worth it. Okay. Again, suffice to say one of the best, if not the best, in my opinion, story mode AU I have ever came across in my years of reading. Aside from, there was one I did like for a while. That was like one where Jesse's like a cannibal, and that was like a Jessica's kind of one. Not as much. I have to find that one. That was on Wattpad like ages ago. That was interesting to read as a 14-year-old. All right. Book 9. Alright, let's see here. Book. And Odysseus answered, King Aclinius, it is a good thing to hear a bard with such a divine voice as this man has. Literally, he's just saying, yeah, he has a, in my opinion, he has a really good voice. I really like. It's crazy. Again, the English is crazy, like how they used to just formally talk like this. Can we have that back, please? There's nothing better or more delightful than when a whole people make merry together, with the guests sitting and orderly to listen, while the table is loaded with bread and meats, and the cup-bearer draws wine and fills his cup for every man. This is indeed as fair as a sight as a man can see. Now, however, since you are inclined to ask the story of my sorrows, literally, he's like, now you're asking me to tell of my sorrows and my trauma? Okay, I'll try. He's literally trauma dumping. He's like I said, he's literally, this is literally like Jesse the Lucas, if like they ever had a, dude, they should have had a scene in story mode where like literally like they had Jesse just fucking process trauma, but they didn't. They just didn't. I mean, again, a kid's game. It couldn't be that deep. After he was sobbing on the floor, he just talks like that. He's like, "Okay, I'll talk about my trauma." Like literally. Oh man. Now, however, since you're inclined to ask the story of my sorrows and rekindle my own sad memories in respect of them, I do not know how to begin, nor yet how to continue and conclude my tale, for the hand of heaven has been laid heavily upon me. Firstly, then, I will tell you my name, that you too may know it, and one day, if I outlive this time of sorrow, I may become my guests, though I live so far away from all of you. I am Odysseus, son of Laertes, renowned among mankind for all manner of subtlety, so that my fame ascends into heaven. I live in Ithaca, where there's a high mountain called Nuturium, covered with forests, and not far from it is a group of islands very near to one another. Durillicum, same with the wooded island of wait, this starts with a Z. Zacnius. I don't know, close enough, I can't. It lies squat on the horizon, all highest up in the sea towards the sunset, while the others lie away from it towards dawn. It is a rugged island, but it breeds brave men, and my eyes know none that they better love to look upon. The goddess Calypso kept me with her in her cave, and wanted me to marry her, as did also the cunning Achaean goddess Circe. But they could neither of them persuade me, for there is nothing more than dear to a man than his own country and his parents, and however splendid a home he may have in a foreign country, if it be far from father or mother, he does not care about it. Now, however, I will tell you of the many hazardous adventures by Zeus will I meet with my... However, I will tell you of the many hazardous adventures of which by Zeus's will I have met with on my return from Troy. Where I had set sail, thence the wind took from me first to... When I had set sail, thence the wind took me first to Ismarus, which is the city of the Cicons, where I sacked the town and put the people to the sword. We took their wives and also much booty, treasure, and we divided equitably amongst us, so that none would have had reason to complain. Then I said that we had better make off at once, but my men had very foolishly would not obey me, so they said that they're drinking much wine and killing great numbers of sheep and oxen on the seashore. Mine foolishly would not obey me, and so they said they were drinking much wine and killing great numbers of sheep and oxen on the seashore. Meanwhile, the Scions cried out for help, and to other Cicons who lived inland. These were more in number and stronger, as they were more skilled in the art of war, for they could fight either from chariots or on foot as the occasion served. In the morning, therefore, they came as thick as leaves and bloom in the summer. And the hand of heaven was against us, so that we were hard pressed. They set the battle in array near the ships, and the hosts aimed their bronze-shod spears at one another. So long the day waxed and it was still morning, we held our own against them, though they were more numbers than we. But as the sun went down towards the time when men loosed their oxen, the Scions, or Scion, I think, I'm not sure, got the better of us, and we lost half a dozen men from every ship we had, so we got away with those that were left. Hence we sailed onward with sorrow within our hearts, but glad to have escaped through death through we had lost our comrades, nor did we leave till then we had thrice invoked with each one of the poor fellows who had been perished by the hands of the Scions. I'm gonna say Scions, just for the sake of it. Then Zeus raised the north wind against us till it blew a hurricane, so that land and sky were ridden in the thick clouds, and night sprang forth out of the heavens. We let the ships run before the gale, but the force of the wind tore our sails to tatters, so we took them down for fear of shipwreck, and rolled our hardest towards the land. There we lay 2 days and 2 nights of suffering, much alike from toil and distress of mind, but on the morning of the third day we then again raised our masts at sail and took our places, letting the wind and steermen direct our ship. I should have gone home at the time, unharmed, but had not the north wind and the currents have been against me, as I was doubting Cape Malaya, and sent me off my course hard by the island of Cynathra. I was driven hence by foul winds for the space of 9 days upon the sea, but on the 10th day we reached the land of lotus eaters. We reached the land of lotus eaters, who live on a food that comes from the kind of flower. Here we were landed to take in fresh water, and our crews got their midday meal on the shore near the ships. When they had eaten and drunk, I sent 2 of my company to see what manner the men of the people of the place might be, and they had a 3rd man under them. I then started at once then went about among the lotus eaters, who did them no hurt, but gave them to eat of the lotus, which was so delicious that those who ate of it left off caring about home, and did not even want to go back and say what had happened to them, and were staying and munching lotus with the lotus eaters without thinking further of their return. Nevertheless, though they wept bitterly, I forced them back to the ships and made them fast under the benches. Then I told the rest to go on board at once, or lest any of them should taste of the lotus and leave off wanting to get home. So they took their places and smote the grey area with their oars. We sailed hence, always in much distress, until we came up to the land of the lawless and the inhuman Cyclops. Now the Cyclops neither plant nor plow, but trust in Providence, and live on such wheat, barley, and grapes as grow wild without any kind of tillage, and their wild grapes yield them wine, as the sun and the rain may grow them. They have no laws nor assemblies of the people, but live in caves in the tops of high mountains, each is lord and master in his family, and they take no account of their neighbors. Now off their harbor there lies a wooded and fertile island, not quite close to the land of the Cyclops, but still not far. It is overrun by wild goats, and that breed there in great numbers and are never disturbed by the foot of man. For sportsmen who as a rule will suffer so much hardship in the forest or among mountain Perceptes, do not go there, nor yet again is it ever plowed or fed down, but it lies a wilderness untilled and unsown for year to year, and has no living thing upon it but only goats. For the Cyclops have no ships, nor yet shipwrights who would make ships for them. They cannot therefore go from city to city, or sail over the sea to one another's country as people who have ships can do, if they had the that's actually in the book, there's 2 hads. If they had these, they would have colonized the island, and it is a very good one, and it would yield everything in due season. There are meadows, and that in some places come right down to the seashore. There are meadows that come in some places come down right down to the seashore, well watered, and full of lustrous grass. Grapes would do there excellently, There is a level land for plowing, and it would be always yield heavily at the harvest time, for the soil is deep. There is a good harbor where no cables are wanted, nor yet anchors, nor need a good ship to be moored. But all one has to do with the breach, the wait. But all one has to do is to beach one vessel and stay there till the wind comes fair for putting out to sea again. At the head of the harbor there is a spring of clear water coming out of a cave, and there are poplars. There's those flowers again. Poplars growing all around it. Here we entered, but so dark as was the night, and some god must have brought us in, for there was nothing whatever to be seen. A thick mist hung all around our ships. The moon was hidden behind a mass of clouds so that no one could have seen the island if they had looked for it. Nor were there any breakers to tell us where we were close inshore before we found ourselves upon the land itself. When, however, we had beached the ships, we took down the sails and went ashore and camped upon the beach until daybreak. When the child of morning rosy-fingered dawn appeared, we admired the island and wandered all over it, while the nymphs, Zeus's daughters, roused the wild goats that we might get some meat for our dinner. On this we fetched our spears and bows and arrows from the ships, dividing ourselves into the 3 bands and began to shoot the goats. Heaven sent us an excellent sport. I had 12 ships with me, and each ship got 9 goats, while my own ship had 10. Thus, through the livelong day to the going down of the sun, we ate and drank our fill, and we had plenty of wine left, for each one of us had taken many jars full when we sacked the city of the Sicons, and this had not yet run out. While we were feasting, we kept turning our eyes toward the land of the Cyclops, which was hard by, and saw the smoke of their subtle fires. We could almost fancy we heard their voices and the bleating of their sheep and goats, but when the sun went down and came on dark, we camped down upon the beach, and the next morning I called a council. "Stay here, my brave fellows," said I. "All the rest of you while I go with my ship and exploit these people myself. I want to see if they are uncivilized savages." Savages? Yeah, savages are a hospitable and humane race. I went on board, bidding my men to do so also, and loosed the holsters, so they took their places and smote the grey sea with their oars. When we got to the island, which was not far, there on the face of a cliff near the sea we saw a great cave overhung with laurels. It was a station for many sheep and goats, and outside there was a large yard with a high wall around it made of stones built into the ground of the trees of both pine and oak. This was the abode of a huge monster who has been taken, who was then away from home sheep herding his flocks. He would have nothing to do with the other people, but led the life of an outlaw. He was a horrid creature, not like a human being at all, but resembling others, rather some crag that stands out boldly against the sky on the top of a high mountain. I told my men to draw the ship ashore and stay where they were, but all the 12 best among them who were to go along with myself. I also took a goat skin of sweet black wine, which have been given to me by Meron, the son of another Greek name, Euenlides, who was priest of Apollo, the patron god of Ismaris, and lived within the wooden precincts of the temple. When we were sacking the city, we respected him and spared his life, but also his wife and child. So he made me some presents of great value: 7 talents of fine gold and a bowl of silver, with 12 jars of sweet wine, unblended and with the most exquisite flavor, Not a man nor maid in the house knew about it, but only himself, his wife, and 1 housekeeper. When he drank it, he mixed 20 parts of water to 1 of wine, yet the fragrance from the mixing bowl was so exquisite that it was impossible to refrain from drinking. I filled a large skin with this wine, and took a wallet full of provisions with me, for my mind misgave me that I might have to deal with some savage who would have been would be of great strength and would respect neither right or law. That's crazy. So, like, it seems like parents, like, they always mention, like, oh, this is the son of so-and-so. I feel like parents were such, like, a high regard, too. That's another thing I've noticed. Which is crazy. Dude, it's, I mean, they had that little moment, episode 5. Yeah, you're talking about Jesse and Lucas. I mean, they did. A little bit. They would have gone through one world in the program where they had to face traumas in a kid-friendly way. Yeah, that would have been crazy. Dude, I would love to write something like this. English is an odd and strange language that only Wonderland can decipher. Yeah. Return of the Populars. Like, it makes sense, though, because the parents were just in such high honor. I mean, like, literally, Odysseus just said in his, like, he said his father's name. Like, that, like, oh, this is the son of, like, they don't say the wives as much. Only, like, the fathers, because I think men were just seen as, like, this, like, high regard. Like, I think it's a sign of respect. I wouldn't be surprised if that was what it was. Well, it would, I think it is, essentially. Which, it's really, yeah. The family line, your family line was super important back then, yeah. And that's why you see, like, older films, I think that kind of lasted a while. Like, you see in older films, like, oh, it's this family, oh, it's this last name's family. Like, there's still of that, like, amount of respect there, but not as, like, you have to say it constantly when you introduce yourself anymore. It's not much of, like, a thing. But seeing it now in this book, it's like, dude, that's just crazy. Like, oh, man. I'm just fascinated. I'm really into this. We soon reached this cave, but he was out sheep herding, so we went back inside and took the stock of all we could see. His cheese racks were loaded with cheeses, and he had more lambs and kids than his pens could hold. They were kept in separate flocks. First there were the hoggets, and then the oldest of the younger lambs, and then lastly, the very young ones that all kept apart from one another. As for his dairy, all the vessels, bowls, and milk pails into which he milked were swimming with whey. When they all saw this, my men begged me to let them first steal some cheeses, and then make off with them to the ship, and they could then return, drive down to the lambs and kids, put them on board, and sail away with them. It would have not been indeed better if we had done so, but I would not listen to them, for I wanted to see the owner himself in the hope he might give me a present. When, however, we saw him, my poor men found him ill to deal with. Dang. Literally, like, Odysseus is like, ooh, I want to make friends with this guy. I want to be humble and nice to this dude, whoever will give us our divine, like, who might give us a present in our, like, in exchange, like, for all the sheep and stuff. And literally, this was in the musical too, where he's like, hey there, we're just travelers. Like, he was just being nice. Oh, man. Which kind of weird that wait, I'm reading the comments, hang on. Which is kind of weird that he would mention his father. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't he descended from a god from his mom's side? I think so, because Hermes, if I remember correctly, was his, like, great-grandfather or something? Yeah, men were more important because in Greek history, women were deemed unworthy. It's why goddesses were always clothed, but the gods were as naked as the days they were born. Yeah. Unless you are directly the child of a god, your father's line is more important. Oh! I didn't know that. See, I'm learning things, man. This is interesting. Yeah, literally! Odysseus is literally Jesse! Like, he does the exact same thing! He's like, we don't mean you no harm, when we're just trying to get home, dude! Let me just go! Like, oh man, this is literally like, it's literally him. It's so funny how again, the parallels are, like, just there. Gotta go for a bit, I might be back, but if I'm not, have a good evening, guys. Oh, so, bye, I know I'm late saying this. I guess it's just you and me, Magaby, for the time being. Onward with the Cyclops saga. We lit a fire, offered some of the cheeses in sacrifice, ate others of them, then we sat waiting until the Cyclops should come with his sheep. When he came, he brought in with him a huge load of dry firewood to light the fire for his supper, and this he flung with such a noise on the floor of his cave that we bid ourselves for fear at the far end of the cavern. Meanwhile, he drove all the ewes inside, as well as the she-goats that he was going to milk, leaving the males, both rams and he-goats, outside in the yards. He's like, God damn it, they're after my freaking women sheep, or female sheep. Get the males out of here! Get the rams out of here! Then he rolled a huge stone into the mouth of the cave, so huge that two in the 20-strong four-wheeled wagons could not be enough to draw it from its place against the doorway. When he had done so, he sat down and milked his ewes and goats, all in due course, and let each of them have her own young. He curdled half of the milk and set it aside in wicker strainers, but the other half he poured into bowls that he might drink it for his supper. When he had got through all of his work, he lit the fire, then caught sight of us, whereon he said, literally he just got on his routine, like, what the fuck are these guys doing here in my freaking house? And all just drunk gray guy like, how is sweet cinnamon roll a man allowed to... Yeah, literally. I know. Wait, are you talking about Odysseus or Jesse? Like, I guess both are just very cinnamon roll-y. They really are. Like, they're very, like, dude, the sweet ones always get the blunt end of the stick. It's, like, really sad. Anyway, I just like the fact that, like, the Cyclops, it's so funny how he's just going out and he's like, I'm just gonna get milk, and... What the fuck are you guys doing in my... Excuse me, what the actual fuck are you doing in my house? Literally, he says in the next line, Strangers, who are you? Where did you sail from? Are you traders, or do you sail the sea as rovers, with your hands against every man, and every man's hand against you? We were frightened out of our senses by his loud voice and monstrous form, but I managed to say, We're the Achaeans on our way home from Troy, but by the will of Zeus and the stress of weather, we have been driven far out of our course. We are the people of Agamemnon, the son of Atreus, who has won infinite renown throughout the whole world by sacking so great a city and killing so many people. We therefore humbly pray that you show us some hospitality, and otherwise make us such presents as visitors may reasonably expect. May your excellency fear the wrath of heaven, for we are your suppliants, and Zeus takes all the respectable travelers under his protection, for he is the avenger of all suppliants and foreigners in distress. To this he gave me but a pitiless answer. Stranger, said he, you are a fool, or else you know nothing of this country. Talk to me, indeed, about fearing the gods or shunning their anger. We Cyclops do not care about Zeus or any of your blessed gods, for we are so ever... Wait, shoot, I got this English. For we are so ever much stronger than they. I shall not spare either yourself or your companions out of my guard for Zeus, unless I am in the humor for doing so. And now tell me where you made your ship fast and where you came on shore. Was it round on the point, or is she lying straight off the land? He said this to draw me out, but I was too cunning to be caught in that way, so I answered with a lie. Poseidon. I set my ship on the rocks on the far end of your country, and I wrecked it. We were driven onto them from the open sea, but those who are with me escaped from the jaws of death. The cool wretch vouchsafed me not another word of answer, but with a sudden clutch he gripped up two of my men at once and dashed them down upon the ground as they would have been puppies. Their brains were shed upon the ground, and the earth was wet with their blood. Then tore them limb from limb. Oh, Jesus. This is violent in the fucking, like, musical. Holy shit! You like, I'm gonna drop you guys. Boom. Rip your limbs off. Boom. Like, damn. Just to get some spice to him, but he's really a good person. Yeah, he is. You know. Guy just wants to live his normal day, but when he gets expected house guests, my introverted self would freeze like those fainting goats. Oh yeah, yeah, mine too. I mean, if someone was invading your house, you don't want them there. Like, it makes sense. But damn, does it really have to be that cruel? I mean, jeez. Their brains were shed upon the ground, and the earth was wet with their blood. He then torn from limb to limb and supped upon them? Jesus, he's eating them! He gobbled them up like a lion in the wilderness, flesh, bones, marrow, and entrails, without leaving anything uneaten. As for us, we wept and lifted our hands up to heaven, as on seeing such a horrid sight, for we did not know what else to do. But when the Cyclops had filled his huge paunch, and had washed down his meal of human flesh with a drink of neat milk, he stretched himself full length upon the ground among his sheep, and went to sleep. Now that rhymed. I was at first inclined to seize my sword, draw it, and drive it to in his vitals, but I reflected that if I did, we should all certainly be lost. For we should never be able to shift that stone with such... For we should never be able to shift with the stone with such with the monster that had put in front of front of the door. So we stayed sobbing and sighing So we stayed sobbing and sighing where we all were till morning came. When the child of morning, rosy-fingered dawn appeared, he again lit his fire, milked his goats and ewes, and quite rightly, then let each have their own young one. As soon as he got through all to his work, he clutched up two of more of my men and began eating them for his morning's meal. Presently, with the utmost haste, he rolled the stone away from the door and drove out his sheep. But he at once put it back again, as easily as though he was merely clapping the lid onto a quiver full of arrows. As soon as he had done so, he shouted and cried "Shoo, shoo!" after his sheep to drive them onto the mountain, and so I was left to scheme some sort of way to making my revenge and covering myself with glory. In the end, I deemed it would be the best plan to do as follows. The Cyclops had a great club, which was lying near one of the sheep pens. It was of green olive wood, and he cut it intending to use it for a staff as soon as it would be dry. It was so huge that we could only compare it to the mass of a 20-oared merchant vessel of a large burden, and able to venture out into the open sea. I went up to his club and cut off about 6 feet of it, and then I gave his piece to the men and told them to find it evenly off at one end, which they proceeded to do, and lastly I brought it to a point, myself charring the end of fire to make it harder. When I had done this, I hid it under dung, which was lying about all over the cave, and I told the men to cast lots which of them would venture along with myself to lift it and bore it into the monster's eye while he was asleep. The lot fell upon the very hour whom I should have chosen, and I made myself 5. In the evening the wrench came back from the sheep herding and drove his flocks to the cave, this time driving them all inside and not leaving any in the yards. I suppose some fancy must have taken him, or God must have prompted him to do so. As soon as he put the stone back into his place against the door, he sat down, milked his ewes, and his goats all quite rightly. Then he, again, same thing, routine, have their young. But when he had gone through all his paperwork, he ripped up 2 more of my men again, made a supper off of them. So I went up to him with an ivy wood bowl of black wine in my hands. "Look here, Cyclops," said I, "you have been eating quite a great deal of man's flesh, so take this and drink some wine, that you may have seen you've been eating a great deal of man's flesh, so take this and drink some wine, that you may see what kind of liquor we had aboard my ship. I was bringing it to you as a drink offering, in the hope that you would take a compassion upon me and further me on my way home, whereas all you do is on ramping and raving most intolerably. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. How can you expect people to come and see you if if you treat them this way? I love Odysseus for that. Like, brother, listen, we have to have a talk, you know? You gotta love Greek violence, yeah. This is very much modern day right now. To remember, not all Cyclopses. Yeah. Eesh. I'm not perturbed by this, am I? Yeah, I mean... Ooh. Okay. It's ewes. That's what they are. Okay, cool. Thanks for clarifying that. I didn't know if I was pronouncing it correctly. Then he took the cup and drank. He was so delighted with the taste of the wine that he begged me for another bowlful. "Be so kind," he said, "as to give me some more, and tell me your name at once. I want to make you a present that you will be glad to have. We have wine even in this country, for our soil grows grapes and the sun ripens them. But this drink's like nectar and ambrosia all in one." My name is nobody, nobody, nobody. Like, it literally, that's just... Oh my gosh. I then gave him some more. 3 times I did fill the bowl for him, and 3 times he did drain it without thought or heed. Then when I saw that the wine had gone to his head, I said to him, as plausibly as I could, "Cyclops, you could ask me my name, and I will tell it to you. Give me, therefore, the present you promised me. My name is Norman." No man. Yeah, there you go. He says nobody. Like, literally the same. My name is Noman. This is what my father and mother and my friends have always called me. But the cruel wretch said, "Then I will eat all of Noman's comrades before Noman himself, and will keep Noman for last. This is you'll be the last to die." Like, literally, that's where the lyrics came from. Holy crap. That's crazy. Again, I fucking love the parallels between Jesse literally does this all the fucking time. He's like, "Now, we'll be kindly, silently move along our way, we'll just go. Like, I give you something, you're gonna give us something in return?" And then, like, literally, and if something doesn't go wrong, I'm like, oh shit. Oh, good. I'm trying to see. But the cruel is we old Noman's comrades before Noman himself, and will keep Noman for the last. This is the present that I will make him. As he spoke, he reeled and fell spiraling face upwards on the ground. His great neck hung heavily backwards, and a deep sleep took hold upon him. Presently he turned sick, and threw up both wine and the goblets of human flesh on which he had been gorging, for he was very drunk. And then I thrust the beam of wood far into the embers to heat it, and encouraged my men, lest any of them should turn faint-hearted. When the wood, green through it was about to blaze, I drew out of the fire glowing with heat, and my men gathered around me, for heaven had filled their hearts with courage. We drove the sharp end of the beam into the monster's eye, and bearing it upon it with all my weight, I kept turning it around, as though I was boring a hole in a ship's plank with an auger thing. Excuse me. Which 2 men with a wheel and strap can keep on turning as long as they choose. Even thus we did bore the red hot beam into his eye, till the boiling blood bubbled all over as we worked it round, so that the steam from the burning eyeball scalded his eyelids and eyebrows, and the roots of the eye sputtered in the fire. As a blacksmith plunges an axe or hatchet into cold water to temper it, for it is this that gives strength to the iron, and it makes us a great hiss as he does so. Even thus did the Cyclops' eye hiss around the beam of olive wood, and his hideous yells made the cave ring again. He ran away in the fright, but he plucked the beam and besmirched with gore from his eye, and hurled it from him in the frenzy of rage and pain, shouting as he did so to the other Cyclops who lived on the bleak headlands near him. So they gathered from all quarters around his eye when they heard him crying and asked what was the matter with him. What ails you, Polyphemus, they say. They take such a noise, breaking the stillness of the night and preventing us from able to sleep. Surely no man is carrying off in your sheep. Surely no man is trying to kill you, neither by fraud or by force. But Polyphemus shouted to them from inside the cave. No man is killing me by fraud. No man is killing me by force. Then, said they, if no man is attacking you, then you must be ill. You must be crazy! That was their equivalent of that. You must be crazy. When Zeus makes people ill, there's no help for it, and you had better pray to your father Poseidon. Then they went away, and I laughed inwardly at the success of my clever stratagem. But the Cyclops, groaning in an agony of pain, felt about his hands until he found the stone and took it from the door, as he sat in the doorway and stretched his hands in front of it to catch anyone going out with the sheep. For he thought I might be foolish enough to attempt this. As for myself, I kept puzzling on what to think, how I could best save my own life and those of my companions. I schemed, and one who knows that his life as one who knows that his life depends upon it, for the danger was very great. In the end, I deemed that this plan would also be the best. The male sheep were all well grown, and carried a heavy black fleece, so I bound them noiselessly in threes together with some of the withes on which the wicked monster used to sleep. There was to be a man under the middle sheep, and the two on either side were to cover him, so that there were 3 sheep to each man. As for myself, there was a ram finer than any of the others, so I caught hold of him by the back and I guess that's another word for escorted myself in the thick wool of his underbelly and hung on patiently to his fleece, face upwards, and thus I skipped a line. Face upwards, keeping a firm hold onto it all the time. Thus then we did wait in great fear of the mind ill till morning came, but then when the child of morning, rosy-fingered dawn appeared, the male sheep hurried out to feed while the ewes remained bleeding about in the pens and waiting to be milked, for their udders were full to bursting. Dang. A lot of milk. But their master, in spite of his pain, felt the backs of all the sheep as he stood upright without being sharp enough to find out that all the men were beneath their bellies. As the ram was going out last of all, my heavy with its fleece and with the weight of my crafty self, Polyphemus laid hold of it and said, "My good ram, what is it makes you the last to leave my cave this morning? You're not wont to leave the ewes go before you, but lead the mob with a run, whether to flowery mead or bubbling fountain. You are the first to come home again at night, but now you're the lag last of all. Is it because you know your master has lost his eye, and are sorry because that wicked Noman and his horrid crew had gotten him down in his drink and blinded him? But I will have his life yet. If he could understand and talk, he would tell me where the wretch is hiding, and I would dash his brains upon the ground until he flew all over the cave. I should thus have some satisfaction for the harm this no-good Noman has done me." Literally how everyone is out to get Jesse. Like, I'm gonna fucking tear that guy to shreds. I hate him so much. Literally, it is Jesse and Palma. Literally, it is. Literally, right there, I'm pondering. He's like, how do I do this? What am I gonna do? Confused. I always loved Jesse's confused little face. Like, I always loved, like, the faces they make whenever they have, like, that cocked eyebrow and they're, like, thinking. It's so fucking cute. It's so adorable. I know that's, again, I'm reading too much into this, but dang, dude. I just can't get over it, man. It's adorable. You just can't deny it. It's so adorable. It's so cute. They did really well with, like, the expressions, even though a lot of people, again, I know a lot of people back then didn't like the game as much, but I mean, for me though, I fucking loved it. As he spoke, he drove the ram outside, but then we were a little way out from the cave-in yards. I first got from under the ram's belly and then freed my comrades. As for the sheep, which were very fat, by constantly heading them in the right direction, we managed to drive them down to the ship. The crew rejoiced greatly at seeing of those who had escaped death, but wept for the others whom the Cyclops had killed. As per usual. Yes, the expressions for some of the models were just... I know, right? I have, like, a VR chat, like, model. And sometimes it has a glitch where, like, some of the characters go cross-eyed, and it's the most cutest fucking thing. When their eyes just go it's just... Oh, God. Oh, it's adorable. However, I made signs to them by nodding and frowning that they were to hush their crying, and told them to get all the sheep aboard at once and put out to sea. So they went aboard, I took their places, and smote the grey sea with their oars. Then when I had got as far as my voice would reach, I begin to jeer at the Cyclops. Oh no, here comes the scene. Just as you do. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, like, God, I would love just to. I need to do an art stream at some point. Like, just draw MCSM characters. I need to do that. I just don't know how to mirror my iPad onto my laptop yet. I have to figure that out. That would be really awesome just to draw. For like a stream. Okay. Cyclops, said I, you should have taken better measure of your man before eating up his comrades in your cave. You wretch, eat up your visitors in your own house? In his own house? Damn! That's a reference to Hamilton. You might have known that your sin would find you out, and now Zeus and the other gods have punished you. He's got more and more furious as he heard me, so he tore the top off a high mountain and flung it just in front of my ship, so it was within a little hitting of the end of this rudder. The sea quaked as the rock fell into it, and the wash of the wave raised it, carried us back towards the mainland and forced us towards the shore. But I snatched up a long pole and kept the ship off, making signs to my men, and by nodding my head, and that they must row for their lives. Row for your lives! Literally, it's in here. Whereon they laid out with a will. When they got twice as far as we were before, I was jeering at the Cyclops again, but the men begged and prayed to me not to hold my tongue. They're literally like... The crew's like, stop! Stop provoking him, please! Don't make it worse! Like, what are you doing, you idiot? Stop provoking them! Oh, man. Do not, they exclaimed, be mad enough to provoke this savage creature further. Literally what I was just saying. He has run a rocket at us already, which drove us back again to the mainland. We made sure of it as the death of us. If he had heard any further sound of voices, he would have pounded our heads and our ship timbers into a jelly. With the rugged rocks, he would have heaved at us, but then he can throw them a long way. But I would not listen to them, and shouted to him in my rage, Cyclops, if anyone asks you who it was that put your eye out and spoiled your beauty, say it was the valiant warrior Odysseus, son of Latres, who lives in Ithaca. On this, he groaned and cried out, Alas, alas, when the old prophecy about me is coming true, there was a prophet here at one time, a man both brave and great stature, Telemus, son of Eurymus, who was an excellent seer, and all did the prophesying for the Cyclops till he grew old. He told me that all of this would happen to me someday, and I should lose my sight by the hand of Odysseus. I have been along expecting someone of imposing presence and superhuman strength, whereas it turns out to be a little insignificant weakling, who has managed to blind my eye by taking advantage of me in my drink. Come here then, Odysseus, that I may make you your presence and show my hospitality, and urge Poseidon to help you forward on your journey, for Poseidon and I are father and son. He, if he will, shall heal me, which no else either god or man can do. Then I said, I wish I could be sure of killing you outright and sending you down to the house of Hades, as I am that it will take more than Poseidon to cure of that eye of yours. Then Poseidon, to cure that eye of yours. On this he lifted up his hands into the firmament of heaven and prayed, saying, Hear me, great Poseidon. If I am indeed your true begotten son, grant me that Odysseus may never reach his home alive, or he must go back to his friends at last, or let him do so late, in the plight of, after losing all his men, let him reach his home in another man's ship, and find trouble in his house. Thus he did pray, and Poseidon heard his prayer. Of course he did. So, that's when Poseidon's like, okay, where's the fucking Odysseus? Where's that fucking bastard? I want to put him into his... He then picked up a rock much larger than the first, and swung it aloft, and hurled it with prodigious force. It just fell short of the ship, but was within a little of hitting the end of the rudder. The sea quaked as the rock fell into it. In the wash of the wave, it raised, drove us onwards to our way towards the shore of the island. When at last we got to the island, and then where we had left the rest of our ships, we had found our comrades laminating us and anxiously waiting our return. We ran our vessel upon the sands and got out of her onto the seashore. We also landed on the Cyclops' sheep and divided them equally amongst us so none of us might have reason to complain. As for the ram, my companions agreed that I should have it as an extra share, so I sacrificed it on the seashore and burned its thigh bones to Zeus, who is the lord of it all. But he heeded not my sacrifice, and only thought of how he might destroy both my ships and my comrades. Thus, through the livelong day to the going down of the sun, we feasted our fill in meat and drink. But then when the sun went down and came on dark, we camped upon the beach. When the child of morning rosy-fingered dawn appeared, I bade my men on board to loose the hawsers, something like that. Then they took their places and smote the gray sea with their oars. Same, yeah. So literally, it's just them describing like sailing, like they're gonna row. So we sailed on in sorrow with our hearts, but glad to have escaped death through though we had lost our comrades. Oh my gosh! Now we're at book 10. Yay, I might leave it off there today. Since that was heckin' a lot. But book 10 would next time I do one of these streams. Book 10 is when we meet Aeolus and eventually Circe. So that's like what in the epic terms that would be. What would that be? The Ocean Saga and the Circe Saga, which makes sense. Let me get all right. Let me check the comments because I wasn't looking at the screen. Stay safe. Stop poking the. You literally. All right. Yeah, I was just gonna go get dinner too, but I wanted to end the stream because I didn't want to go too late. But yeah, you have a great night, Magby. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for joining me reading this, even though it's not much, but as much as last time, but it's a decent amount of chunk. So without further ado, I'm going to watch for myself. In terms of like making sure that I pause this at the right time and the recording isn't all crap. I'm giving myself a signal. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, have a good night. I'll talk to you later. Or see you guys later.